Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Insider gives update on Jimmy Butler trade talks. On Tuesday, NBA insider Shams Charania provided the following update on Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler and where potential trade talks stand during ESPN's NBA Today show. So the talks are, I'm told, the Heat remain open to hearing interested suitors in Jimmy Butler. There's not an urgency that they're operating under. When you look at his salary, $49 million this year, he's got a $52 million player option for next year. The market that we're going to see come this offseason, there's one team with significant cap space, and that's going to be the Brooklyn Nets, $60 million plus. As of right now, in the trade market, the Nets are not believed to be a suitor, and they might not make sense for him come off-season either because clearly they're more of a rebuilding, retooling situation, and he's going to be a 36-year-old win-now star. And that's why I'm told the Suns and the Warriors are believed to be atop his list of preferred win-now destinations if the Miami Heat were to trade him, the Rockets and Mavericks being the others. But this is a fluid situation, we are going to see this play out over the coming weeks. Last week, Arizona Sports' John Gambadoro reported Phoenix was Butler's top trade destination as the Heat could potentially look to deal their star. A potential trade back with Miami would very likely feature Suns guard Bradley Beal, who does have a no-trade clause but would waive it, according to Gambadoro. Butler's interest in joining Phoenix isn't just one-sided, as fellow ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst says the Suns are heavily interested in bringing Butler to the desert. The Houston Rockets have made headlines recently for their cycling through the trade rumor mill as well as their recent appearance in Las Vegas for the NBA Cup, in which they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Rockets have been arguably the league's biggest surprise this year, currently tied for third place in the vaunted Western Conference over a quarter of the way through the schedule. One of the biggest names that the Rockets have been tied to in recent weeks has been Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler, and recently, some validity was added to those rumors when the Rockets became the favorites to be Butler's next team if he is indeed traded, per the BetOnline sportsbook. The Rockets currently have plus 150 odds to land the star, followed by the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. There are varying schools of thought when it comes to up-and-coming young teams and when they cash in some of their assets in a win-now move. The Rockets have been very impressive this season and boast one of the league's best defenses, but their offense clearly needs a bit more firepower in order to truly compete in the Western Conference. Some would argue that Houston should take some time to let younger players like Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, and Reed Sheppard continue to develop and maybe they'll turn out to provide enough offense for the Rockets down the road. Others would argue that there are no guarantees in the NBA, and the wise thing to do would be to trade some of these assets for a player like Butler who could theoretically help the Rockets compete right now. Of course, there's no right answer to the dilemma, and there have been no reports of a Butler trade request or demand out of Miami. However, the Heat have underwhelmed this season, and Butler's contract is up this summer, leading to rampant speculation that the Heat could begin fielding calls for their superstar. Interestingly enough, Butler grew up in the Houston area, and he would certainly provide some stability and veteran leadership to one of the youngest teams in the NBA if the Rockets were to make the big swing. How does Jimmy Butler trade update affect Warriors? The Jimmy Butler trade rumor mill is growing legs. Chaos ensued after ESPN's Shams Charania provided a list of 4 teams, including the Golden State Warriors, that the Miami Heat star preferred as a trade destination. Despite the backlash from Charania's reporting, he updated the NBA universe with the Heat's stance on trading Butler. Following Charania's reporting, which cited the angry agent as his information source, a battle of agent versus reporter ignited on X, formerly known as Twitter, between ESPN's Charania and Butler's agent, Bernie Lee. Charania's report stated the Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, Houston Rockets, and the Warriors are the preferred franchises for which Butler wants to play. The NBA insider recently spoke with ESPN's Pat McAfee to express his confidence in his reporting, especially his coverage of the Butler story. More importantly, he provided more details about the Heat's perception of the urgency of trading Butler and whether the front office is apprehensive about allowing the star to hit free agency. "This is exactly where it is. The Heat are open to listening to trade offers for Jimmy Butler," Charania said. "That's what sources told me last week. There's no urgency, though. They don't really have much fear. Let's say he goes into free agency, they're not that fearful that there's a team out there that is going to be willing to give him." Charania mentioned Butler's contract as the reason the Heat is confident in the situation. If the Heat don't trade Butler during the 2024-25 season, not many teams, especially championship contenders, can afford the contract Butler seeks. Butler currently earns $48.7 million and has a $52.40 player option if he wishes to exercise it. Regarding the Warriors' chances of trading for Butler, his large contract will likely require the Golden State franchise to add a third team. Furthermore, if Butler hits free agency, they have no shot at signing the Texas native. While nothing is set in stone, the significant figures in Butler's contract don't help the Warriors' chances of acquiring the two-time NBA Finals runner-up star, and according to Charania's reporting, the Heat are in no rush to make a deal. Shams, Suns and Warriors still atop on Jimmy Butler's wish list. ESPN's NBA insider Shams Charania reaffirmed his intel that Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler has the Phoenix Suns and Golden State Warriors at the top of his list of preferred destinations. If true, the opportunity for Butler to join the Suns could hinge on Suns guard Bradley Beal, as that is the most likely contract used to make the deal happen. For Beal, who is currently out and rehabbing his knee, is this something he would even want? His no-trade clause in his contract is what everything hinges upon. Well, that and the Heat wanting him in return. The narrative being spun centers on Jimmy Butler wanting out of Miami, but could the possibility of Beal wanting out of Phoenix play a role here? Butler thrives in environments where expectations are sky-high, while Beal might feel differently given his current circumstances. The injuries have been frustrating for Suns fans, and Beal may recognize the intense pressure for the team to win within the next year or two. If he's uncertain about his ability to contribute at that level due to his health, could this be a factor in the speculation surrounding both players? It's not as if the Suns fan base despises Beal, though a scroll through Twitter might suggest otherwise. If he were to stay in Phoenix even after a trade is considered, there's no doubt he'd be welcomed back with a standing ovation. When healthy, this roster has real championship potential. However, with injuries already derailing the season, it might be time to consider making a bold move to salvage the team's aspirations. Suns owner Matt Ishbia is laser-focused on positioning this team to win a championship. Given his willingness to shake things up, do you think he'd pull the trigger on a trade if Beal signals he wants out? And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.